Hello, and welcome back to, believe it or not, my playthrough of Earthbound. That's right, you were probably expecting a regularly scheduled Pokemon White 2 unlock or something, but no, funny thing happened a couple days ago. I got back from out of town and I decided, you know what, I'm finally gonna try to see if I can get this issue, put to rest. I want to see what's going on with my software. I'm gonna go, look up what update my software is and see what's up and everything. See if I can fix it. So I did. I turned on the software because I was gonna go into like about and figure out what edition it was or whatever. So I did that and I opened the software and it turns out, oh, there's an update. I'm like, okay, an update. An update I think was what caused my problem in the first place, but maybe this update will fix things. And so I tried it out, and I did a test recording of Earthbound, which is what you're watching now, which is why what you're hearing now is post-commentary, because this was supposed to just start out as a test recording, and it turns out, it turned out pretty nicely. So, yeah, it's problem solved, I guess. I guess it was that update, and I don't know how long ago that update came out. Maybe it came out last month or something, or a couple months ago, like shortly after I started having the problem. But regardless, here we go. I guess I'll be able to finish my Earthbound playthrough after all, which is cool. And I'll be able to do the other series that I had planned, which would use my consoles. Like I had said, I had a series I had planned on the Wii U, just a little short series, probably short series, that I had started months ago, but I had been saving for really putting into full force until after I finished, at that time, my playthrough of Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and this Earthbound playthrough. So I'll be able to get going on that, and yeah, I'm gonna finish off this Earthbound playthrough. I'm probably not, as you can tell, I'm doing post-commentary and I'm not using the webcam. Probably not going to use the webcam for the remainder of this Earthbound playthrough, and I'm still on the fence whether I'm gonna do it with my console Let's Plays as well, just because basically what I need is I need a USB hub, because my webcam, my webcam for the footage, for the video footage of me, facecam, I have another USB slot for the actual in-game capture, and I have another USB slot for the commentary microphone, and really, it's the same setup for my 3DS capture card as well, but considering the issues that I've been having with the console capture, and it might be because of the larger video size, the larger resolution size. I don't want to risk, running into issues because I had a suspicion, because the other thing that had changed right around the time I started having problems, other than the update, was the fact that I had started using webcam, and a bunch of my episodes had recorded fine when I recorded webcam at the same time, but I think what I'm going to do is just I'll try to do live commentary. I'll try not to do post-commentary anymore, unless it ends up being a problem with my software. But I probably won't do the webcam, and I'll see about in future playthroughs that record the Wii U if I'll do not post-commentary, if I'll do webcam or not. But quick note, I know I'm sort of talking about, behind-the-scenes kind of stuff, but I wanted to mention about this video in particular. I am redoing the last video I had posted, the last Earthbound episode I had posted, was of this same part, the Fire Spring dungeon, whatever, getting the 8th melody or whatever, and the 8th your sanctuary location. So I had actually already done this, but I figured since you didn't really get to see it because it was all glitched out, I would do it again. And now there's the way that I'm going back and forth here was because I had actually gone through this dungeon so many times that I kind of had memorized the quickest path to go through, and I had sort of done this trick of trying to sort of go in and out of the entrances. As you can kind of see what I'm trying to do, it didn't really work out that well. Basically, the trick I was trying to get at was to try to get, you have a chance of the enemies respawning when you enter and exit the door, and you have a chance of no enemies respawning. I was trying to do that and go through as few enemies as possible. And I did make a couple of wrong turns, because again, it's been a couple months since I've done this dungeon, but I was trying to get through this in a fairly quick way, but at the same time, because at first I was thinking this would just be a test recording, I wasn't really caring too much if I was getting into too many fights, so I wasn't really conserving my PP very well, which, as you'll see when I get to the boss battle here, causes a little bit of an issue for me. Like, I get into, I mean, well, I don't want to spoil it, it still ends up okay, but I end up having a lot more trouble than I really needed to have, because I really, on the way here, I was not very good about trying to avoid enemies and trying to conserve PP, and I really don't have... I don't know if anybody else has this problem with Earthbound, or maybe it's just because I don't know where to get these items, but I really don't come across enough items that restore PP, which really gets me in trouble when I have dungeons like this. I don't know if... Definitely before I get to the... Probably at some point before I get to the final boss or whatever, I'll have to do some level grinding to sort of make up for my ineptitude a little bit, and sort of look up the right items and where to find them that I'm gonna need. What is it? A brain food lunch, I believe, restores HP and PP, which I had like 1 or 2 of those. I think I had 1 of those in this episode, in this video, that I used. But I could use more of those, probably. So, yeah, I have to get myself in gear. I have to... Also... Oh, yeah, I accidentally hit the shoulder button a couple times. Or the trigger button. Is it the trigger button that... Yeah, it's the trigger button that does that. Yeah, there's a couple times in this video. It wouldn't be an Earthbound episode with me if I didn't accidentally hit the trigger button and go into the Virtual Console menu, let's just be honest. So... What else to talk about? Because really, there won't be much to talk about until I get to the boss, which I think I'm almost there. But like I had said, I had kind of, when I was trying to do this same episode, which I tried 3 or 4 times, I had kind of memorized the path that I was supposed to take, but I'm a little bit rusty. Like, it was the easiest path to take, and I'm a little bit rusty now with the path. And so I start trying to run from battles here, but as you can see, I wasn't trying too hard to, like, go in and out of the entrances and have the enemies respawn. I was just kind of trying to get through it. Then I kind of realized when I got to the boss, oh, I might as well try and take on the boss. But I had a hard time with it. Basically, because again, I should have been avoiding these battles, because these enemies are pretty tough. I don't know if I'm just not, if I'm a little bit underleveled maybe, or if I'm just not battling smartly enough. I suppose I didn't really have that big of a problem with the enemies. I just really, probably my main problem is lack of healing items, specifically lack of PP restoring items, which I think I need to off-screen next chance I get, because as you'll see at the end of this episode, I'm not really in a condition to go stocking up on items yet. But when I get the chance next, before I get to the final boss, I'll have to try to stock up on items, and I think brain food lunches are what I need. So yeah, I didn't react quickly enough to that one. I could have probably exited and entered again to avoid that battle, but I was able to run from... Those guys, whatever they're called, they seem to be pretty easy to run from. The psycho guys, whatever they're called, I have a hard time to run from. I forget whether oh yeah, they kind of killed Pooh. Yeah, this is where when it says mortal damage, I kind of panic and trying to find something to give to them to prevent them from collapsing, which kind of in the long run really ends up just... Like I scramble, I end up making mistakes, and then a lot of times I end up not being able to heal them in time anyway. So, I don't know. As you'll see later on in the boss battle, not to spoil it too much, but I kind of ended up, because of my distribution of healing items, I ended up, well, let's just say, for now, I ended up not being able to use my party member holding the healing item I needed couldn't use that item for reasons, which you'll see later, and I kind of ended up stuck. But, we'll get to that when we get to the boss battle. Again, I don't want to spoil too much here. We are almost up to the boss battle. I think there's one more. Yeah, I don't remember, and I might have run from this guy. I don't remember. Yeah, those guys are pretty easy to run from. So here I make possibly a bad mistake. I try out the 3 different healings to try to get rid of Pooh's paralysis, and as you'll find out Yeah, there it goes again. I was trying to figure out where, because I thought there was a description. Oh, I remember where the description was. It was in status. Hindsight is 2020, huh? So I try out all 3 healings on Pooh to try to heal his paralysis, which none of them work. In retrospect, I could have used one of the, like, Horn of Life or Life Noodles, I think. But I didn't want to use it anyway because I wanted to save those items in case somebody fainted or whatever, collapsed, died, whatever it really is in Earthbound. But as you'll see, what I didn't realize, because I realized that when you're paralyzed, you can't use physical or melee attacks, whatever you want to call it. But I know Pooh is a PSI attacker, so I wasn't too concerned about that. What I didn't realize until I actually got into battle is that when you're paralyzed, you can't use items. So that caused me trouble in the boss battle as well. But yeah, you'll see. In the meantime, this is just me trying to heal up my team as best as possible. And I only had 2 items that really restored PP, and the DX water, which really only works on Pooh to restore PP, like, that item, I don't know. That's a weird item. Like, it recovers 1 PP if anybody except for Pooh uses it, if I remember correctly. And even on Pooh, it doesn't record. I keep saying recording because I am recording, I guess. It doesn't recover as much as I feel like it ought to. But at least it recovers some. So what I end up having is Ness really doesn't have that many PP. So I'm sort of going back through my items, some of which I forget what they do. I end up reorganizing my items a little bit. I'm just trying to conserve PP at this point, because, well, I mean, Paula is pretty well set on PP. I think she's in a good place, like, to use PP. Pooh still needs to be recovered a little bit, but there's the DX water, or Deluxe water, I suppose, is what it stands for. So, I'm running out of stuff to say here. While I'm just doing... Oh yeah, there I realized it actually. Pooh can't use items, so I had to give the water to Ness so that Pooh could use it on himself. Which I should have realized then and there, that would come back to bite me in the actual boss battle. Not that I didn't realize how to get rid of his paralysis, but I could have at least moved the healing items over to all of my other party members. But anyway, at this point, I figure I'm about as healed as I'm gonna be able to be. Ness won't really be able to use many PSI attacks, but he's pretty good at physical attacks, although that will be a problem for this boss, as you will soon see. And I went back, looked over it again. Yeah, you can tell I'm really not sure. This is the point in the video where I really wasn't quite sure if I was really going to take on the boss or not. I was just double checking what all my items do. Again, still thinking this is a test recording. I'm still figuring I'm going to go for it, but I'm looking over. I'm trying to remember the strategy for the boss as well, because this boss has an interesting strategy, which I'm going to try to wait until we actually get in the battle to get into. Oh yeah, this is where I realized that my revival items actually would heal Pooh's paralysis, but I made the decision that I want to save those revival items. Again, my main mistake being that at the very least, I should have moved them over to, like, Jeff or Paula or Ness, have them hold it instead, because Pooh can't use it in battle. So I should have either just used one of them on him. I actually had a few, because basically what ended up happening is I was saving my life items, and in the battle, because reasons, I ended up not being able to use them when I really needed to, so I might as well have just used them before the battle anyway. So I recorded this 1 day ago from when I'm recording this commentary, so I don't completely remember now how much longer I'm going to be organizing things. I think right now I'm just going to finish up recovering, I don't know why I keep saying recording instead of recovering, the last bit of HP. Okay, here we go! You finally got here. This is the 8th Your Sanctuary location, but it's mine now. Take it from me if you dare. And as you can tell, I was not reading that dialogue at all. I was just spamming A. Okay, so this dog guy, I forget his name. Carbon Dog. Alright, so yeah, you gotta attack him with special attacks because by default he has a physical shield. Or, well, this dog has two forms, basically. In his first form, I'm not sure, I think he can take physical attacks and he doesn't have a shield, but he has a second form which does. So basically you want to avoid using physical attacks on him so that when he does change form, you don't get hit. And he's especially weak to freeze and I think flash, which is why I tried to use flash. Again, I've done this battle like 100 times. And he kills Jeff, who then I freak out, and I'm trying to be quick enough to get a recovery item out and heal him. Yeah, you can see there I choke big time. Again, trying to hurry up and yeah. And Pooh can only use PSI attacks, really. And oh yeah, I had Pooh, I wanted Pooh to use Life Up on Jeff. I ended up using healing instead of Life Up. So yeah, you can see how when I'm in a hurry, I panic and choose the wrong thing. But anyway, trying to get to this, trying to figure out what to do. Because again, this Carbon Dog, all Ness can do is bash at this point because he's used his last useful PP. Paula is still good for PSI attacks. Except I need to heal up Jeff, so I think I give him the Life Noodles or Horn of Life, whatever item. Yeah, I gave him the Life Noodles. So yeah, here we go. The Carbon Dog now changes, because when you put Carbon under a lot of pressure, you have the Diamond Dog. And there's his Reflective Shield, which reflects some damage back from all physical attacks, but Ness really didn't have anything else he could use. And here again, so I have to make a choice with Ness. I really can't attack in any way unless it's a physical attack with Ness, because I don't have any PP. So I think this is the turn. Let me see what I decide to do. I was really thinking about this. I either just bash him or I end up using that bag of Dragonite, which, no, I end up using the jerky, I guess. And Paula's still good to freeze. Freeze is pretty much still the best thing I can do against this guy. Jeff can use... What am I doing with Jeff? Because I think he can still use the Heavy Bazooka. Oh, I was going to try out the Shield Killer, that's right. I think I had tried this in a previous battle and it didn't work, but I had forgotten. So I was going to see if I could break his shield, because there's something, I think a neutralizer. There is an item that Jeff can have that can get rid of his shield, but I didn't have it. So yeah, Ness ate the jerky. We try out the Shield Killer. At first I thought 'cause the animation went that maybe it would work, but no, it didn't. So now I decide I have to use a physical attack anyway, so I'm going to try the Bag of Dragonite to see how much damage that does. And have Paula use her most powerful freeze, of course, because that is pretty much my best attack that I can use. With Jeff, I picked Defend because, I forget why, because I think the bazooka still counts as physical damage, so I guess I was trying to protect Jeff until the shield goes away. I don't remember if the shield took a while to go away. Oh yeah, he has this attack, by the way, the Glorious Light or whatever. It either paralyzes you like it did with Jeff, or it just kills you like it did with Pooh. So here's where I really run into a problem. Well, Pooh can't use items anyway, but my only other recovery items, and the only item that can revive Pooh and get rid of Jeff's paralysis, I have two items, they're both being held by Pooh. Therefore, I can't use them. Which Pooh was paralyzed anyway, so I couldn't use it anyway. But I can't heal Jeff, and I can't heal Pooh. And so now Jeff can't do anything. He can't use his bazooka or whatever. So Jeff is pretty much useless. I had him spy on one turn, I think. I forget if I did it that turn, just to see his stats, but that doesn't really do me much good. So basically, it's just Ness and Paula, and Jeff is just there to be a punching bag to take some damage instead of the rest of us. So Paula's gonna have the jerky there, right? Yeah, Paula's gonna use the jerky on herself. Jeff is gonna do nothing. No, there I have him spy. And really knowing his stats doesn't really help me. And his shield gets more powerful, of course, which means I do less damage. I also get less damage reflected back at me, so at least there's that. So I pretty much just have to wait for this shield to wear out. And Paula, as you can see, is getting low on PP. I decided to use the Dragonite. Oh, we did have a smash attack, so there's that. There, the shield disappeared, so now, when Paula turns into a dragon, she can do damage without worrying. So there I was trying to make the decision, do I heal or not, and I was thinking, I really can't at this point. I can't afford it. And Jeff actually still hasn't taken any damage yet, which he would be the perfect one to take damage because he can't do anything. He might as well absorb damage. There we go. And so now I'm just gonna bash away. There's really no sense, because I feel no sense in protecting Jeff, because he really can't do anything. Yeah, mortal damage to Jeff. Again, at this point, I'm just gonna try to bash as much as possible. As you can see, I'm going as quickly as possible. Because again, it's just Ness and Paula, and all they can do is bash. That is all I have left. And he hit Jeff twice, so going fast enough actually... Oh, and that did it. So he actually spamming A enough that enough turns went by without Jeff collapsing was actually a good thing, because then he was able to attack Jeff a second time. So as you can see, we did that in not a very graceful way at all, but we managed to defeat the Diamond Dog. And at this point I decide, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move my revival items over and revive Jeff and Pooh, which, in retrospect, well, even at the time I was thinking maybe it's not necessary because, well, as you'll see when we go into the next area, we actually get separated and automatically healed after getting to the sanctuary location. So maybe this is a waste of items, but I just felt, at the time, in the moment, I just felt so bad for kind of messing up and letting them both die that I just felt like I had to revive them. So I did. I mean, again, maybe a waste, but we did. We did defeat it, so at this point, again, kind of spoilers, but I've played through this same dungeon enough times at this point that I know Ness is going to be separated, so one thing that I did use the guide to know is that I should give the C pendant to Ness, so I did that. And also, so I decided to get a few healing items. Well, I was going to give Ness the Horn of Life, then I realized if Ness is the only one in my party, there's no need having a revival item, because if I'm out, that's it. There's no one to use the revival item. So I give him the luxury jerky, just so I have a healing item. And then that's pretty much all the rearranging I really feel like doing, so I'll just head on to the actual sanctuary location. The 8th and final one, by the way. Let's listen to this melody. It's a quiet melody. Ness had the feeling that he was being watched by himself as a baby. Ness's soundstone recorded the melody of Fire Spring. Again, I obviously wasn't really reading that. We have the 8 ones, Giant Step. The 8 melodies, that is. Lilliput Step. Milky Well. Rainy Circle. Magnet Hill. Pink Cloud. Lumine Hall. And Fire Spring. Also, I like how there's this little, like, soft, pretty melody, but then, like, the background, sort of, the accompanying music is kind of slightly out of tune. It's kind of in keeping with the weird tone. So I guess what we're seeing now is some kind of flashback. Well, I guess that's us in real time. That's Ness in real time. But, like, he's walking down a long and winding road that leads to his door. And we're gonna go see a memory play out, I guess. Although we're obviously in a dream world because Ness's actual house is not on a cliff. Unless the house he was born in is on a cliff. I don't know. So yeah, we dissolve, I guess. We're just seeing a dream. Oh, it's King. Hi, King. So yeah, this is a memory. I guess, well, I heard footsteps. I guess we're actually just invisible walking up the steps. Oh, look, it's a cradle. It's Ness as a baby. Ness. I guess that's his parents talking, right? Yeah, I already know it's his parents talking. I've already seen this scene before. I think Ness is the right name for him. Ness. He smiled just from hearing his own name. Do you think he likes his name? Of course, I don't know whether the mother or the father is talking at any given time. Try putting that red cap on him. Ha ha ha, it's too big, but it looks good. I hope King won't be jealous of the baby. Let's celebrate with some banana. Yeah! I don't think he needs to be rich or famous, but I want him to be a thoughtful, strong boy. That's odd. The baby bottle that he pointed at seemed to move a little bit. Foreshadowing to his psychic powers. And now, something completely different. We're getting out of that memory, and we're here. I believe this is Magicant, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we're here, and we're alone, and we're in our pajamas. We're in some kind of weird alternate dimension, I guess. But we'll have to figure that out in the next episode. So we have finally completed Fire Spring and gotten it recorded in full quality, so yay, we can finally continue on with our series. If you are excited for the return of my Earthbound playthrough at last, please leave a like, and also if you want to stay up to date on my latest episodes, don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it a lot as well. Also, if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can like my page on Facebook or follow me on Twitter. The links, as always, are in the description. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of my playthrough of Earthbound.